Hey guys, here in Israel again, and just wanted to point out something that we saw alongside of the road. And you see all these carrion, these birds that are swarming everywhere. And it reminded me of Revelation 19. Revelation 19 talks about this great feast after Messiah kills all the armies of the Antichrist and they're slaughtered. It says that and I saw an angel standing in the sun who cried in a loud voice to all the birds flying in midair, "Come and gather together for the great supper of God, so that you may eat of the flesh of kings and generals and of the mighty, of horses and their riders, and the flesh of all people, free and slaves, great and small." And so this reminds me of what that great feast will look like when Christ calls all the carrion, all the vultures, all the eagles, the birds of prey that come and feast on the bodies of the dead armies that he has destroyed at the second coming. So in reference to Israel, it says this in Matthew 24, "Therefore, if they say to you, 'Look, he is in the desert,' do not go out, or 'Look, he is in the inner rooms,' do not believe it. For as lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." And so he's talking about his return and where he's going to be. And he makes a veiled reference to Israel of where Messiah is going to be when you find him at the second coming. And he says in verse 28, "For wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together," or the vultures will be gathered together. And if you look in the sky, you know, obviously this carrion are circling where there's food. There's a big dump here, and so you can smell rotting food here. And so that's why all these carrion are circling above the ground. And so Jesus makes an allusion to these birds, these carrion, these vultures, eagles, whatever you want to translate them as. But basically, you know, birds of prey that feast on dead flesh and stuff like that, vultures. And he's saying, you want to know where the Son of Man will be at the second coming? He's going to be where the carcass is. And where the carcass is where the vultures will be gathered around it to consume it. That is a veiled reference to Israel. And it's a veiled reference that the carcass of Israel will be in Petra and in Jerusalem. And so as we've talked about, Jesus comes back at the second coming. He goes to Petra and saves Israel there from the Antichrist army, and then he goes up to Jerusalem and saves the rest of the remnant in Jerusalem and saves them from the Antichrist as well. So the carcass in that passage is Israel. And he says, where the carcass is, that's where the Son of Man is going to be. That's where the vultures are going to be gathered. That's where the armies of Antichrist are going to be there to wipe Israel out, and then Messiah comes to rescue them from the vultures, which is the Antichrist and his army. So I just wanted to show you that. It's a very neat thing that you see in Israel, and that's why they're circling above. And Jesus used that as an analogy for Israel and the Antichrist armies. It's a great teaching lesson. And then obviously it talks about the feast of the birds at the end of the tribulation. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. We'll talk to you soon.